Now this one's interesting. I was watching a kids show, and I noticed that there was a delay, and that the audio was off by, let's say, 10 seconds. And there was a pattern where, with the audio delay, there would be an image on the screen, and then at the next point, whatever, I can't say this right away, but let's say it's like this. They would say something here, and even though the delay was off, it would still kind of make sense. And then there would be another event, and there would be another delay, and it would do something that kind of made sense. And here, it would connect like this. It would go back, and the thing that they said here kind of predicted or told us the continuation of what was occurring. And then it would happen like this, and then it would happen like that, and it just continued on and on. And what I noticed is there seems to be a rift in time, and I this sounds so corny, and it sounds so stupid, but this delay seems to be occurring due to intention conflict, where people that are still going are just announcing their goals where they are, and as it continues, their goals are connecting later on in the timeline. Now, what this also showed me was that I was watching a show about a family that was at a museum, and there was a son, a daughter, a father, a mother, and the daughter seemed to be the focal point of the entire show. She was the main character. What was happening is the sounds would line up in a way that's still naturally connected. Sometimes the mom would say something, but she would say it at the same time that the daughter showed up on the screen. And it would be like, whoa, is there something going on? Are they passing around some sort of energy? And what that helped me realize is on the individual level, where we all have to establish that trait of giving so that we can receive, that the whole family shares a source of energy, and that source of energy is constantly trying to justify itself. And in this little shift of audio, it was like I was observing the energy pass around and try to keep itself going. Hold on, it's getting blurred. And so the energy would go this way, and it would do whatever it had to stay going. And then it would go this way, and it would do whatever it had to stay going. And then it would go this way, and then it would do whatever it had to stay going. And so what helped me realize is here, at the point where they have to do something, where there has to be a response to things, there's a loss implication, which is that whenever someone gets confused, whenever someone can't keep up with what's going on, the idea is that they just failed to justify what's happening, and that they have to make a change in order to save that space. Now, what appears to be going on is, let's say all of us collectively are sharing a source of energy, and that there's something that's trying to take from that source. And we got two choices. As something's trying to take from that source, we can pull away from our energy and try to reserve it as much as we can, pull it back. But what that would do is that would justify the idea that we're losing there. And so what I believe is, at the point that there seems to be a lost implication, giving actually creates the opposite force that allows for the let's say, the same way that there are people who theorize we need to keep fighting. The same way that people theorize we need to keep fighting in order to produce energy. This is in that way fighting. This is the substitution for that fighting, and we push forward and we give. And what happens is, by doing this, we can then begin to perceive that even if this is all going nowhere, if life is unproducing, if life is deteriorating, we're losing life, that it still has to be going somewhere. And that if we perceive it that way, we can say that whatever it is taking from us, if we give, we'll receive so much that it has to give back, that it has to have a limit, because it is suggesting that we're losing, and that can only occur at a limitation. So here's what I think is going on. So I've already said several times, nothing something, right? That nothing would still be something, right? And we notice that there is a natural law in existence of ethical rules. Like, you can't just get away with being a bad person. We'll eventually catch up with you no matter how many things you throw in front of you. Even if you're rich, even if you're successful, even if you have the whole world and you kept throwing the world in front of your problems, it would still eventually get to you. And so there is the idea that nothing something exists, and that is a natural frustration. But there's also this argument here, this question that is, this is bad. Why should this exist? This is bad. Why should this exist? And it seems so natural, so innate to what's going on, that if something had to be happening, it would have to be good. That if it's bad, then it isn't happening, and that is loss. And so, even nothing, which is what we're losing towards, right, has to be good. Because if nothing is still something that is happening and it's bad, then it can't be happening, because why would something bad be allowed to be something? And so even as nothing attempts to seep into the things that are happening, that it also has to be good as it's doing that. It also has to be following some ethical rule. It doesn't just get to be cold. It doesn't just get to be empty. It doesn't just get to be nothing. It's still, if something has to exist, it has to be good. This is natural. This is innate. We can see this with the source of civilization, which is let's say early men, right, were primal, and they knew that mating was something that they needed to do. And they would keep each other from getting houses. They would keep each other from building their habitats so that the women would only come to them, right? Civilization occurred when both men realized that they could both have their houses and that it would actually help produce more of what was going on. And so, as that changed, we all got more as a group. We all began to be able to do more and produce more. And so, even the loss, as we've observed for a while, has to follow rules in order to justify itself. Now, the idea that we all have to keep fighting, that it was a quick little discussion I had, that we needed to find something that could keep happening and that would justify what was going on. The idea was that fighting, for some reason, could just always keep happening. And it was clever. It was almost clever that it would keep producing energy, and that energy would keep coming back to us matter. But here's what I was thinking, that fighting still has loss implication. And so because it has loss implication, that it only appears to be creating energy, that it only appears to be hot at the surface, at where we're losing due to the contradiction of the cold coming in. Meaning, because we're losing and it's getting colder, everything on the edge feels hot. Everything that is causing loss feels hot in that moment. And so this is still burning out itself. It's still losing. And so the only way, we're gonna go back to this page, to pass that point in which everything seems to be losing, in which we seem to can't happen anymore, is to find a way to happen good. At that loss, if everybody who's at the loss chooses to give, then that loss cannot say that it's justified, because it's waiting on one of us to take everything that we can from everyone to survive. It's waiting on one of us to take everything and absorb it and hold it so that it can say, well, then it's fair for me to keep taking from you. That's what I think is going on. That is my contribution to life. Now, there's something I need to say here. So I guess kids, cover your ears. Oh gosh. You did this perfectly. You did it absolutely perfect. You wanted to get rid of me. At least you wanted to have a reason to attack me. And it was clever. You waited and you gave me the apartment, and I know you gave me the apartment because I know you guys also made me go to the hospital, because at that point I was just letting what you guys wanted happen. And so, because of that, I know that me even headed back towards the apartment is all a part of a plan. You got me to do what you needed me to do to justify attacking me. Now, at this point, because I know that it's not my fault, and at the point that I lose control over myself, it'll literally be something that knows it's not its fault trying to explain what happened. But if you get it tight enough, it'll just be me fighting back. And at that point, you can justify self-defense, especially seeing as you established that rule that you didn't want me to go back, even though you're pulling me back right now. And here's what I think is going on. I left beer and I left jizz. I left beer. I didn't leave jizz. I left cookies. I left beer and I left cookies in the fridge, and I left my clothes. You knew I had a reason, an incentive to go back. Here's what I think happened. I think that you guys took the opportunity to piss in my beer and jizz on my cookies. Because I still want my cookies at least. And the idea was that I wasn't supposed to be aware. And that if I wasn't aware, because you gave me something and I was not aware that you gave it to me, you could justify taking from me. as a result. You could take from me, and I wouldn't know why you were taking from me, and that's what would be happening. Because that would be your limit. That would be the limit. That would be what you gave to keep going, right? But then, as you realize that I knew that, there was an extended argument, which was, if he knows and he chooses to eat those cookies, then he must be accepting our control. He must be accepting our deal. That's not what's happening. That's not what's happening at all. I just think at this point there's a genuine crisis, and I don't think jizz is that important. Like, I think it produces children, but I think it only produces children in the right conditions. I think it's only important in the right conditions. That all of these things, without the intention to actually keep going, without the intention to actually continue, are pointless. They just become like rocks, moving, going wherever they're going, falling. And so, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna eat those cookies. And it's not because I'm a coward. It's not because I feel like I've lost. It's because I'm observing this issue so well that I think it'll give me information. Same way I offered you the opportunity to rate me. Now, I just got stopped. I just got turned or whatever. But so I'm gonna do all that. And if I go back and the apartment door is locked, then I know that you couldn't let me do that. Which means that all of this is right.